David Viscott, the problems of the past stay with you till you face them, feel the pain associated with it, and forgive. That's what that's about, forgiving. Who's next?
Okay, we have Art on line 12, and he's still getting over a fiance's death.
Art.
Dr. Viscott, good evening.
Good evening, Art. How old are you?
I'm 55.
Your fiance died?
Died, yes, she was 34.
How?
You may recall we had an earthquake last June 28th of last year.
At the racetrack?
Yes.
That was your fiance?
Yes, it was.
We were just talking about her 2 days ago.
Is that right?
Yeah.
Well, you know, obviously it's something that I just haven't really been able to deal with. Julie had never been married. I'd been married once, and that's some 10 years ago that came to an end. And we had been together about 10 months, I guess. Lived together most of that time. And as you know, I train horses, and done that for about 15 years, I guess, now some 15 or 16 years. And when Julie and I came together, she would go with me most mornings. As you know, that's an early lifestyle. We start at 5 or 6 o'clock in the morning, and she enjoyed being with me, or enjoyed the horses, or both. And she would accompany me 6 days a week usually, and she followed me, you know, doing what I did. And that morning, I had a horse going to the gate that morning, so we had to travel a little further east in front of the grandstand at Santa Anita, and it was no different than any other morning, really. And we had to get ourselves elevated to be able to see what I needed to see, and we walked up on the steps in front of the box seat area, and the earth began to shake. And I've been there before when we've had shakers, so it was nothing terribly unusual to me. I wasn't paranoid about it. And Julie was standing on my left side, and I looked at her, and I guess I was trying to be funny. I said, you know, a little shaker going on, and she didn't say anything, and said we better walk down on the apron and maybe get out from underneath this overhang of the grandstand roof. And I took her right hand in my hand, and we proceeded to walk down the steps. There was no panic, really, and then everything just shut off. A steel beam about 20 feet long came from the underpinning of the grandstand roof and struck us. And Julie died instantly, and I received a number of injuries. I've been in the hospital 3 times since. I'm going to have surgery for the 3rd time this coming Thursday on my left shoulder and left arm. But the physical pain is not something that really bothers me, honestly. I just have a terrible time dealing with Julie's loss.
What is the terrible time like?
Pardon me?
What is the terrible time like?
It's just I just relive our times together. We spent all of our waking hours together. It was just an amazing relationship, I guess, in that people that would spend as much time as we spent together might be crying for space, but with us, we enjoyed being together, and we spent so much time together. There's just so much emptiness now. Everything that I see or do reminds me of our times together. Julie and I were going to be married the following September 29th, and we've been making plans for that, and we bought a home with an acre that we were living in, so we could keep horses off the track in our front yard, you might say. And it was just a beautiful thing. It was great for me. I just never envisioned being as happy as I was with Julie. And
well, something you're missing.
Yes?
You're talking about things you could have had. The fact is that you already had them.
Yes.
You know, I was talking earlier about seeing the rainbow.
Yes.
The rainbow is where you see it from. You never get closer to it. The life that you had with Julie was the life that you had with her.
Yes, it was a beautiful lifestyle. It was just incredibly good.
All right, but that's what you had. That's a reality.
Yes, it is.
It's nothing you can go back to and live in again. But it's part of your life. There was a time and there was a place where you had all that. It doesn't take away from the present.
I just don't know how to fill these gaps.
All right.
I
Let me ask a question. If there had been no Julie in your life, where would you be right now?
would be where I was when I met Julie, obviously, and
No, you'd be where you are right now without the memory of Julie.
that's true. Yes, that's absolutely right. But God, it's just that.
And how different would that be? The only difference would be that you wouldn't have had Julie to compare your world with.
Yes, I suppose that's true.
Your world is exactly the same as it was before. But now you see it differently because you know what love has done.
I just can't turn it loose, our home. I still live in this home, perhaps I shouldn't. Everything here reminds me of Julie. I haven't, most of her things are still where they were when she left me, and
But it's time to put those away now.
I just have a difficult time when Dr. Viscott, I've tried to make an appointment to see. I've talked to Dennis McGowan a few times, and you're awfully busy. I understand that. And people that I know have suggested that I see somebody or get involved with therapy, but it's got to be somebody that's right for me, and I can't describe that.
Let me tell you the first steps. The first steps are beginning to put her things away.
Yes.
Everybody has to do that.
I understand
It's
that.
not a happy day when you do that.
It's like it's a finality or something
But
like that.
that's the truth you have to tell about Julie. Begin by starting to put her things away. I know that's tough, and I hear it in your voice, but you have to do it.
I know.
Little by little. You have to put the physical parts of her out of your life. Pictures are okay, but you've got to get on with it. What would she have told you?
Oh God, Julie would have done the right thing, whatever it was.
And she would have.
And
If it had been you, she would have been putting your things away a long time before this.
Perhaps. Yeah.
Okay.
She was just so special in so many ways. She just gave me a meaning to my life that I'd never had before. I've always been.
But to keep her around the way you're keeping her around is to take her specialness and to use it as a spoiler for your life.
But how about this thing? I don't know that if I feel guilt about this Dr. Viscott, but I replay it in my mind, the what ifs, and what if I hadn't have done this, or what if I said if I had not said let's walk to the apron, we would both still be together.
Yeah, but
and
she's the one who suggested it.
I have a hard time living.
We all play what if. Okay?
Perhaps.
And we don't know that if we... How many of us have escaped death today and didn't even know it?
I think about that.
Yeah, and that's the
think
truth.
about that.
But the point is, you didn't escape, and the time has come to start putting her things away. As you do that, your life will fall into order, and then you'll get some idea of what you want to do. And if you want to do therapy at that point because you're having difficulty, so be it. But start putting her things away. It's time. It's time. You can't live in the past. The debt you owe to the past has to be paid as soon as possible. And the best way to avoid that debt is to express all the feelings in the moment. But mourning is a different story. It just takes a lot of time to mourn some losses. We'll be right back.